boy's eating biscuits, got gravy on his bag. Dirt report coming at you loud and clear. Talking slide jobs, wrecks, and racing gear. From the high banks to the flip-flop balls, we interview the kings of these southern walls. Slide them sideways, kick up that dust cloud high. Dirt track heroes riding under neon sky. Midnight rider howling, Hot Wheels burning rubber. Desi calling the shots, ain't no other. Hot Wheels spinning donuts just to show his flair. Midnight rider sneaking past like he don't care. Desi's got the mic asking how'd you wreck so bad. They laugh and tell stories about the times they went mad. We got moonshine wisdom and tire smoke tales. From late model flying to street stocks on rails. Biscuit boys yelling past the hot sauce, y'all. While Marines planning strategy, standing 10 feet tall. Dirt report coming at you loud and clear. Talking cautions, checkers, and racing fear. From the heat races to the feature grind, we bring you the truth from the dirt track mind. Slide 'em sideways, let that clay fly free. Southern racing soul, that's our pedigree. Cornbread man laughing, chaser closing in tight. Dirt report forever, race all night. Yeah, we might talk about that time Biscuit Boy flipped 3 times and still finished. Or how Hot Wheels claims he meant to do that. Marine says hoorah every time someone hits the wall. And Desi, she's the boss. Don't cross her, y'all. Dirt report, turn it up, let it roll. Dirt track stories, we got plenty more. From the backstretch brawls to the victory lane kiss, we live that red dirt life, can't get enough of this. Slide 'em sideways.
All right, we're coming in. Broski Bear, thanks for being here. Oh, how nice to say. I don't know if that's true or not. Oh, he needs a link. Paul needs a link. Broski says Dave is cool. All right, you're talking about email, I guess, or Facebook, I guess. We kind of came in just a little early, but I guess you're not home yet. Let me take care of this real quick and take care of Biscuit Boy. You know, you got to take care of your boys. If you go to the racing thing there, Paul, you'll find your link. Just pull up the messenger for the racing group, and you'll have it. If that don't work, let me know. All right, Dirt Report in the house. Almost 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on this last day of March.
Yeah.
We're flying into April.
Yeah, we are.
And we are excited tonight because we have greatness in the house. And I'm not talking about the chaser. Just kidding. No, we have some great folks here. And we want to say, first of all, glad Daryl's back. You know, I'm glad you're feeling good enough to be in the house. I know you've been under the weather. And Desi, and we'll get to y'all later about how the job went today. We got to check on that. Mm-hmm. The Marines in the house. Paul be coming in. But Claude Haggerty was with us from north of the border in Canada. And we're going to talk about a lot of stuff. And we thank you for coming on with us, sir. And we're looking forward to all the future events we're going to do and connections that we'll have. thank you so much for being in the house with the Southern Patriots podcast.
My pleasure. And, I've been on a lot of podcasts over the years, and that was one of the coolest intros I've ever seen. So kudos.
Well, thank you for that. That's a new song. I like to drop. Nobody heard that in the group but me. So they were all hearing it for the first time. So they were facial expressions, except Daryl. Daryl always has the same. He's got a great poker face, although he doesn't play poker. But anyway, thanks for that. We appreciate it. So tell us about Claude. We're all learning. We just learned something before we went on the air. Tell us about Claude and a little bit of background for you. Then we'll just dive in and tackle it from whichever direction you would like to go.
I grew up in 4 foster homes. I stuttered most of my life. I stuttered so bad I couldn't even say my name. And yet I had these big dreams of becoming a world famous magician. I wanted to be like David Copperfield, Siegfried and Roy. And I realized for me to go out and to do what I wanted to do would take hundreds of thousands of dollars in investment, lighting and sound equipment. And I wanted to work with tigers and lions and jaguars and have tractor trailers and all these big trucks. And I realized that in order for me to have it, it would be very tough for me to be able to finance this through my job. So back in 1981, I attempted my first sponsor deal. I walked into a local business trying to ask for $100. Back in 1980, that was a fair bit of money.
Yeah.
And I walked in, stuttered my way through the presentation, and the man said, "How much is this going to cost me?" So I tried to say I could do this for $100. But when you stammer, those are hard words. So I said I could do this for $400. And the man looked at me. My heart was beating like this. And he said, "Young man, it took a lot of courage for you to come in here. I could see that, how hard this was for you. I'm going to give you what you asked for." And he made the check out for $400. That was my first sponsor deal right there. I was so petrified. I'm asking for $100, and he made it out for $400.
Wow.
And I was so petrified by that. I said I would never do this again. I would never walk into a business and ask someone for money ever again. I would never do it. But I was working back in 1980 for $4 per hour, trying to finance my dreams. And for me to earn $400, I had to go work for someone for 100 hours that I just earned in 15 minutes. Yeah, I stuttered through the whole thing. But I kept asking myself, what made more sense? Working $4 an hour or earning $400 in 15 minutes? Same outcome, same pay. What would get to my dreams faster? So I put my big boy pants back on, and I kept going out and meeting more sponsors and more sponsors. And I started simplifying this so that I could do this. And I raised $8 million in sponsorships.
Wow.
Going on.
Impressive.
Which gave me some tremendous advantages. It changed the way I traveled across this country on my own tour bus and all the trucks I need and bought all the props. And I was able to generate millions of dollars for charity through all my events. I built one of the largest magic shows in Canada. I had lions and tigers and jaguars and 16 staff. Back in 1986, when they opened the West Edmonton Mall, which is like your Mall of America, they were looking for an entertainer to perform for 140,000 people. And they had 2,000 proposals, which my proposal was accepted. And I performed there for 140,000 people. 2 of my employees used to race dirt track. This is how this started, my friends. This is why I'm here. So I sponsored 2 of them for 12 years, and I got a chance to see what it's like to be a sponsor. And, I didn't get a whole lot of value from that. And for the longest time, I was a little bitter about that I didn't get a whole lot in exchange. But then I realized it probably wasn't their fault because they didn't know how to take care of a sponsor. In 2010, one of my high school buddies purchased a local dirt track here in Ontario. We are now the longest running dirt track in Canada. This is our 75th year this summer. And 10 years ago, when he bought the track, I started helping him land sponsors for the track. And I also helped the Speedway to implement some strategies that I learned as a magician to put another 200 to 500 people in the stands every Saturday night by partnering with local nonprofit groups on a win-win opportunity. 2018, I retired from show business after 36 years on the road, 11,000 gigs, over 8 million in sponsorships. I opened a brick and mortar sandwich shop, which was also very highly sponsored. My $7,000 meat slicer come from a sponsor. My $4,000 pop machine come from a sponsor. I'm not going to pay for this. I'm a sponsor guy. Sorry. Which is kind of cool. That's how I pay for everything, by the way. I mean, the computer I'm talking to come from a sponsor. My clothing, my car, everything comes from sponsors for me. But we had a regular customer that come into our sandwich shop on a regular basis, and he was looking for a sponsor for his race car here in my local community. So I go down this rabbit hole again, and I sponsor him as a sandwich shop owner. 2019, a few months later, just as COVID was coming on, there was a very bad fire, and 9 teams lost everything in one night. Lost their cars, their haulers, their fire suits, their tools. The fire was so intense it took 5 days to put the fire out, including the car I sponsor. So he come to me and said, I don't know what I'm going to do. And I said, go get more sponsors. And he said, it's COVID. Who's going to sponsor me during COVID? Because here in Canada, we could race during COVID, but we were allowed 100 spectators in our stands. We have 2,200 seats, but we were allowed 100.
Wow.
So he said, who's going to sponsor me when I tell the sponsor you won't be able to come and see a race because you won't even get a ticket? Because we only have 100 and there's 5,000 people looking for them. So I met with him an hour per week on Zoom for about 6 weeks, and he landed 21 sponsor deals in 42 days.
Wow. Amazing.
He did 21 presentations, landed 21 sponsors, which is not bad. During COVID, while the track was closed, he replaced everything. He went on a podcast. He mentioned my name quite a few times during that podcast because they asked him, how did you land 21 sponsors? He said, this magician, showed me a different way of looking at sponsorships. And when I changed the way I looked at sponsorships, man, the pieces just fell into place. So a few teams reached out and they asked, are you the guy who waves that magic wand and we get sponsors? It's like, it's not that quite that easy, my friends. There is some work involved, okay? Yeah. But I do look at sponsorships a little differently. And when I look at differently, different things happen. So a few more teams reached out, I helped them. And then in 2024, I did an experiment. I took 100 teams. They were go-karts right up to all odds and probably anywhere in between. And I put them in a Facebook group. I helped them for 6 weeks, and we generated over $1 million in sponsorships in 6 weeks for those teams.
Incredible.
So I knew I was onto something because they were doing 10 to 20,000 a piece in 6 or 8 weeks' time. I wrote a book called Pit Stop to Sponsorships. It was on Amazon, and I was able to feature about 25 of my students in my book and tell their stories about how I was able to help them to look at things a little differently and get the results. My youngest student was 8 when I wrote the book. He's 9 now, but he did $40,000 this year to race go-karts.
Amazing.
At our local track.
Yeah.
So here's the thing, okay? Go to any track anywhere in the world, take 100 teams, line up against the fence, and give them one instruction. Those of you who have enough sponsors to race for free, please take 2 steps forward. There would be 95 out of 100 still against the fence. And I think we both all agree it's probably 97, 98, 99 against the fence, but I'd rather say 95 to be on the safe side. Sure. But you'd have a hard time picking 100 teams at random and finding 5 that are completely self-funded. You would have a hard time, and I would go all in on that. So if someone looking from the outside, because I'm not a racer, we have to ask the question, if sponsorships are so important to racing, if it's that important, why are 95% struggling with this if it's that important?
Amen.
And in the beginning, I was not able to answer that, but now I can. I can tell you why. I look at getting sponsors like making a cake. If you've never made a cake, and we needed to make a cake, the wisest thing to do is go get a recipe and follow that recipe to a T. So in order to make a cake, it tells you, go to the supermarket and buy these ingredients. So you go buy your eggs and your butter and what it says. So you come back, and today we're going to make a cake. You open up the recipe, and there's 5 simple steps to making this cake. Step 1, preheat the oven to 350. So you go set the oven to 350, no problem. Step 2, break 6 eggs, put them in a bowl. Oh, we could do that. Step 3, add a cup of flour, a pinch of this, a pinch of that, put it in the oven, set the timer, and when the timer goes in 45 minutes, you open that oven door, you have yourself a cake. And any one of us could do that as long as we could read those simple instructions and then do what it says. That's plain and simple. Yeah. But here's the thing. Let's say for whatever reason, we decide to skip one step. So let's say we skip the first step. We don't turn on the oven. Do that later. You could do step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. And when you open the oven door, no cake. Because that first step, kind of important. Okay? Let's say we don't break the eggs. We just say we take 6 eggs out of the carton and put them right in the bowl. Don't even break them. When that timer goes, no cake.
That's right.
If you don't add the flour, if you don't set the timer and you go check on it 6 hours later, probably no cake. Those steps are super simple. They're super important. And not only do they all have to be done, they have to be done in the right order. Okay? You mix up any one of those steps, no cake.
That's right.
With sponsors, having done millions on my own, helping more than a couple hundred teams excel at sponsorships, I can tell you with absolute confidence, there are 5 key steps to landing a sponsorships. Each step, super simple. But guess what happens when we omit one step? No cake.
Yeah.
So far, so good? Because each of those steps, super simple, but each of those steps, super important.
That's right.
And when teams come to me and they're struggling with sponsors, I already know they are missing one of those 5 key steps, at least one. In fact, most teams are missing 3 or 4 steps. Some are missing all the steps, completely missing all of them. Close, but not on target. They almost did this part, almost got this part, and they're wondering why they're getting no sponsors. And the reason 95 out of 100 are struggling is because they are missing one of those key steps.
Those that you helped, when you showed them and they were able to attain that, and I mean, was it like, did it transform their thinking? I mean, because you would think when you see that, it would be like, I'm looking at this totally different now than I ever have before.
100%. Okay. And here's the thing. So when I work with teams, one of the first things I help them do is to identify who are your best partners. Most teams go about this the wrong way, in my opinion. So most teams are off the mark right out of the gate. So I'll reveal the 5 steps and we can talk a little bit about each one. But step 1 is to identify who are our best partners. And instead of trying to chase the whole world, anybody with an email address, I help teams pick 20 businesses that I want them to focus on. And these 20 businesses, 75% of them will not only move forward, but these 20 businesses will write you a check within 72 hours of you being there. I'll say that again. These businesses will write you a check within 72 hours of you being there. If someone give you a piece of paper, put a line down the center of the page, on the left side, there's 20 businesses that will write you a check this week. And on the other side of the page is 700 other businesses that will get back to you in 18 to 24 months with a no. Which one do you want to start with first?
Absolutely.
Step 2 is to establish a little bit of credibility with those 20 businesses before you send them your proposal or pitch them in any way. Most teams skip that step. They just fire off some BS proposal to total strangers,
Yeah.
wondering why nothing's happening. It's because you have no credibility. And think about this. When was the last time a total stranger emailed you and said, hey, you don't know me and I don't know you, but if you send me 5,000 American dollars, when I get my gold out of these hills, I'm going to send you $1 million. We're going to be rich. When was the last time you sent out that check for $5,000?
Yeah, exactly.
Why?
Yeah,
Because you don't know them, you don't like them, and you don't trust them.
that's right.
So what do you think? What happens when we send some total stranger our sponsorship proposal? Same thing, okay? So step one is to identify who are our best partners. Step two is to build a little credibility. Step three is getting the invitation down right. How do we invite them in a way that opens doors, not closes doors? Most people reach out by saying, hey, do you want to sponsor a car? Not really. No, I don't. Or can you help me? Can you give us money? No, I don't really have money I want to give away. Sorry, I really don't have any that way. And rather than saying, hey, can I send you a proposal, or who your decision maker, or whatever, if they reached out to you and said, hey, I like what you do there. I'm a customer. I'm familiar with your business. What if there was a way that you and I could mutually benefit? Or what if we could mutually prosper by helping each other? Would you be open to having that conversation on what that might look like? How about we brainstorm on what that might look like? You'd be, hey, I'm open to that. We could mutually profit or mutually benefit. Yeah, I'm open to that. But do I want to just throw away money? So just by changing the way we ask that question, that opened way more doors.
Yeah.
Okay?
I've always said relationships are the key to anything. If you don't know somebody, you're never going to
1,000%. 1,000%. So we're going to identify the right people. We're going to build a little credibility with them. We're going to invite them the right way. Step 4 is to create that irresistible offer. How do we make them an offer they can't afford to turn down? Instead of setting a proposal and praying they say yes, oh my God, I hope I get this.
Yeah.
I'd rather send you a proposal or meet with you in person, preferably, and let me make you an offer you can't afford to turn down. The first real estate agent that says yes will get this. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this. And I come to you first because I know you, like you, and trust you. Maybe you're my realtor, you're my friend, you're somebody I already know, like, and trust. If you say yes, this is all yours. If you say no, feel free. I'll offer it to another realtor. And you look at this and going, I'm in. Thought so. Because I dare you to say no. Just say pass. And I'll give you an example of that. If I showed up at your driveway tomorrow morning and I had a 1957 Corvette, 5,000 original miles on this car, mint condition, I won it in a draw, but I can't keep this car. I have nowhere to park it. I don't drive standard. And my wife really wants to go on a cruise. And Dave, since you and I are really good friends, if you can come up with $5,000 within a week, I'll give you the keys to this 57 Corvette. If you say no, maybe I'll see if Daryl wants to call, or maybe we have another mutual friend who might want this, but I come to you first. When I left your house, the only thing you have on your mind is, how am I going to get my hands on $5,000?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And here's why. If you say yes, this will cost you $5,000. If you say no, this is going to cost you $50,000. So feel free to pass.
Yeah.
And this is what we want to do with our sponsorships. We want to add so much value to them that to say yes will cost them $2,500 to $10,000, but to say no may cost them $30,000 to $50,000 in lost opportunity that we could generate for them.
Yeah.
So they look at this and going, I can't afford to pass this up. You know, I was able to get 1,000 real estate agents to send me 1,000 each. That was a good idea, generated $1 million right there.
Wow.
By just doing this a little differently. And then the last step is to create a little urgency. We got to create urgency without pressure, because nobody wants to be pressured into doing anything. So we identify our fresh fruit, we call it. We build a little credibility. We invite them to have a look at what we got going on. We create that irresistible offer, and we create a little urgency that the sooner we get started, the sooner we can mutually benefit by helping each other. And that's it, those 5 steps.
Yeah.
And what I do is I help teams to understand that and to implement those strategies so it makes sense for them. And I've got a lot of students who, are generating $400 to $1,500 per hour for every hour they spend in sponsorships. So I've got a lot of teams that's done 20 to 50 grand in sponsors, and it might have taken them 10 or 15 hours of their effort.
Which is well worth that journey.
Yeah. Exactly.
So,
So
yeah.
that's
I love it.
So that's kind of what I do and how I do it. But we can talk about any questions you might have on this concept or this process in any way. But certainly here to help anybody I can here. So
yeah, and you when you started out, what you said is so true. I mean, everybody talks about it. Some call them sponsorships, some call them partners, business associates, or whatever. But it's the same thing. Mm-hmm. And some of them have done very well, but there are tons of them, like you said, that are not fully paid for, so there's money coming out of their pocket. Mm-hmm. And and I hear this a lot as we've done this series, and we've heard from some, and they'll say, I want to do better for my sponsors. I want to communicate better. I feel like this is an area I need to get better at. And sometimes even forgetting even to mention them. They'll, I need to, because we'll mention, I'll go, yes, the sponsor, Mm-hmm. And what you're saying with this is, if I hear it right, is when you're presenting to them, you're building a business case that puts it all in a format that they can mm-hmm. see that value, and then you're living up to the terms of that agreement, so that it's taking you down a journey. You don't have to say, I need to think about my sponsors, because you're already doing that. It's already in the plan.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Built in.
Yeah, I'd also like to comment a little bit on proposals, right? 99.9% of every sponsorship proposal I've ever seen sucks. That's just straight up. Okay, one of the biggest things you could do to advance your sponsorship career is to take your existing sponsorship proposal and probably burn it. Don't send it out, because you are leaving thousands of dollars on the table. And I'll tell you why. When you do a sponsorship proposal, many times, we go to the internet and we go to AI and we generate these proposals, or we go to a graphic artist, which is pretty much the same. And many teams have spent $500 to $1,000 on their proposal. Many of these proposals look like $1 million. They look pretty slick. But it's like taking a $20,000 paint job on a $500 race car. It looks amazing, but there's nothing under the hood. There's nothing that's going to perform. And when push comes to shove, you're soon going to see that there's nothing there. These proposals, they're using these templates, and they change the pictures or the colors, but the meat and potatoes are all the same. You go through. Many times I feel like calling up some of these race teams and going, okay, is this your proposal? And they'll say, yes, it is. Good. Turn to page 5, the third paragraph, read that out loud. Now tell me what that means. What am I getting? What does that mean? Mm-hmm. They're like, I have no idea. I didn't think so. It sounds pretty good. Most proposals, I call it the me, like me. Right? Because everything in there is, I did this, I did that, I have top 5, I was 12 times I was on the top 7, and 3 times in the top 10, and I won the championship. The sponsor looks like that. Who gives a crap?
Right.
Who cares? See, their favorite music or their favorite station is WIIFM, which stands for What's in It for Me.
Yeah.
Yes, right.
That's right.
Okay? So any space on that proposal that talks about you is leading to nowhere, because they don't really care. They really don't. What they care about is what's in it for them. So you want to make sure that you use every inch of that to create so they can clearly see what's in it for them. Okay. The second thing is this: when you make a proposal and you say, here's option A, package B, package C, and package D, who's to say they want any of that stuff? Who's to say they want that?
Yeah.
Where do we get that from? Oh, I don't know, off the internet, off some other template of somebody else who really doesn't understand sponsorships. And they send these out. They don't see the value in there because you didn't have a conversation. I'm not against proposals, but I'd rather meet with you. Let's brainstorm on a win-win opportunity on how we can mutually benefit by helping each other. And then if you want a proposal, I'll send you a proposal based on our conversation, not what I dreamt up 6 months ago and just sent that to you. You know, how you give value to an engine builder will be different than how you give value to a realtor, which will be different than how you give value to a pizza shop. Their needs are different, their businesses are different, and how you serve them may be different too. So sending these one-size-fits-all proposals, you're wasting your time. Okay?
Yeah.
So most teams are not only sending these proposals to total strangers, but they have no credibility. So they're even compounding it that much worse because they don't get back to you. When you talk to companies like Velocita, they could have 7,000 to 10,000 proposals a year. So imagine being the CEO and you have 5,000 proposals on your desk. They all look the same. They all smell the same. They all got the same buzzwords inside, all the catchphrases. And none of them answers this question. Out of the 7,000 proposals, why should we pick yours over anybody else's?
Yeah.
Most people have no idea how to answer that. And this is why they're not selected.
Once you have attained that sponsorship, do you find that it will multiply over years, or do you have to approach it the same way each time? Do you have to bring that back again and relook at the numbers or relook at the proposal or what's in it for them each time?
Well, here's the thing, right? Our goal is to give each sponsor 2 to 10 times on value, right? And one of the ways we do this, okay, is by asking questions, asking the right question. One of the things that I share in my training, which is, I'm going to give you a big tip right here, is when we're actually meeting with them, we ask this question. Over and above some of the things we talked about, what's one thing I might offer to you that might make this a home run for you and your business? And they're like, well, you know, it doesn't matter. You got lots of value here. No, what would knock this out of the park? What would knock this right out of the park? And I'll give you an example. One of my students, Dave Mammo, who was the guy who had the fire, was meeting with a local college here in Ontario. They went to the college. They presented this, and they were asking for like $2,500. Then he asked that question, hey, what's one thing we could add that might make this a home run? They said, well, there's one little thing. We would like to know if you could put the sticker about the size of a hockey puck. Could you put this inside the car? He goes, I got a big logo on the outside. He goes, I know that, but our question is, could you put this little sticker on the inside of the car? That would make this a home run. So then he asked the next question that I asked him to ask. Why would that be important to you? Because I don't see it. I don't get it. They said, because we want the GoPro to pick up that sticker, but put it right by the gauges. So when you film the race from the GoPro, we want that footage to show our sticker right by the gauges. And he said, okay, why would that be helpful? They said, we want to send that to Japan and Hong Kong to attract international students here to Canada, to our college, where we teach high-performance engines. And that would be extremely valuable to us. And not only would we move forward, we'll come out at $5,000.
Nice.
Okay,
Yeah.
That was 2019. 2020, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. That college still in the car. By asking that one question, he generated an extra 15,000 or so over and above. And had he not asked a question, he may not have landed the deal at all. Had he sent some BS proposal, it probably would have been sorry. No thanks. Don't see the value. You did not have that conversation. So I think many times we, and I'm included because I struggled my first 5 or 10 years with this, I sent out emails and proposals because I was just chicken shit to go talk to somebody.
Yeah.
Whereas if we just go in and meet man to man or lady to man or whatever it may be and chat on how you may benefit by helping each other and going from there, you're going to get way more sponsorships, my friends, way more.
When you started out and you mentioned, which I appreciate you mentioning, because so many people struggle with different things that make it difficult or insecurity or whatever. As you did these deals, as you started, you got your first one at $400.
Yeah.
But did repetition help you overcome that, or was there other things you did to overcome how that was petrifying to you to ask and to be someone who stuttered? How did that go?
No, and that's a great question. To me, one of the easiest ways of doing this in the beginning is going out and meeting with people you already know, like, and trust. Right? And there's 3 ways that I find that you can leverage this know, like, and trust. One is approach businesses that you already know. Maybe they're friends of yours or they're relative of yours that have a business. I hear a lot of people saying, hey, I don't want to go bug my friends. I only want to work with friends.
Yeah.
Right? If we're not friends, I prefer not to work each other because because my friends take care of me and I take care of my friends. Right? And here's the thing. Let's say I'm a real estate agent. And you don't approach me because we're friends. So you approach another realtor and they sponsor your car and they get 1 or 2 leads of people. Maybe it's a buyer selling a home and that realtor goes out and makes $27,000 commission. And you never even gave me the opportunity because I was your friend.
Mm-hmm. That's a great point. Mm-hmm.
How would I feel if we're friends? So don't prejudge whether your friend would be interested. The only reason you shouldn't approach your friends, if you're going to go take their money and not give them any value, then don't go to your friends.
That's right.
But if you have genuine intentions of creating a win-win, why would you not want your friends to benefit from that? Why not? At least give them the first opportunity. Hey, this may not be for you. That's okay. But I respect you enough that I wanted you to see this first. If you like it, maybe we'll do something. If not, we'll offer to someone else. But I certainly want to make sure that if I'm going to promote a dentist or I'm going to promote a veterinarian or I'm going to promote a roofing company, man, I want it to be you because of our relationship. That goes a long ways. The second way that many teams kind of fall short on is a friend of a friend.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do any of you gentlemen know a realtor quite well?
I used to. They're not in realty anymore, but I used to.
Okay, and just for demonstration, what was that realtor's first name?
It was Jim.
James?
Jim.
Jim?
No, Jim. G-E-N. Jim.
Jim?
Jennifer, like Jennifer.
Jennifer, okay. And could you tell me anything about Jennifer, like about your relationship, your friendship? How did you meet Jennifer?
Well, I think it was through school, kids, stuff like that.
Met through school?
Yeah, kids are friends. Kids become friends, and then you meet parents, and that's kind of how that.
Okay, so your kids kind of become friends, and then you kind of met them through.
Yeah, and then we got into clubs together. Our kids got into clubs, so you're meeting each other a lot through clubs and civic groups.
And is there anything funny that you can remember about Jennifer that if I mention it, she would get a good laugh? Is there anything that ever you can remember something real quick that happened between you and Jennifer was real quick?
Well, things our kids said,
Okay.
we would chuckle over things that the kids said in the group settings, and sometimes the kids will say something you're like, whoa, where'd that come from? Like something like I remember one they were talking about boys and we're like, whoa, you're too little for boys. We had granddaughters, their daughter, my granddaughter, so.
Awesome. And just so you know, a thunderstorm is going right through here. So if my power goes out, I disappear. That's why. But
it's not the magician thing. You just
that was a good one. Here's the thing, okay? What's the name of the town that you're from, or Jennifer's from, or state?
We would just say the greater Chattanooga area here in Tennessee.
Yeah. See, I've never met Jen, but I could call Jen right now and say, hey, Jen, you don't know me and I don't know you, but we got something happening in Tennessee that's actually going to benefit a local realtor. And when I mentioned this to a local friend, a mutual friend. This mutual friend thought of you right away. Now, this mutual friend tells me that you've known each other quite some time, and you actually met through your kids. And your kids, you always say funny things, and you guys have a lot of chuckles together. And she would say, "Oh my God, you're talking about Dave." Yes, I am. Bingo. Okay. Hey, Jen, what I have may or may not be for you, but I promised Dave that you could see this first. And Jen, if you like it, maybe we'll do something. If you don't, that's okay. I'll offer it to another realtor. But I did promise David you could see this first.
Yeah.
See, Jen would meet with me. We may or may not do something together. That would remain to be determined. But she would meet with me with very little reservation because she doesn't know me, doesn't like me, doesn't trust me in any way, but she knows you enough that she knows you would not have sent me to her if this was not to her best interest.
Right.
Right? So I would feel comfortable and she would feel comfortable because of our mutual connection to you. But if I called Jen and she answered, "Hey, realtor here in Tennessee," and I say, "Hey, Jen, I don't know you and we don't know each other, but do I got a deal for you?" She'd be like, "Stay away. I'm not interested. Leave me alone." It would be completely different than having that mutual friend.
Right.
And I think more and more teams need to leverage that. I could access anybody I want. I never have a problem to getting to the decision maker. I just find someone who has access to that decision maker and get them to introduce me to the decision maker because they have access. I don't.
That's right.
The worst way is to call up their gatekeeper and going, "Hi, I was hoping to meet with the decision maker."
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, young man. Our president makes 1.7 million a year. I'll just go get him down here so you can yak to on the phone. I'll just go see if he can come down here and talk to you right now. And it's probably a good thing he doesn't come to the phone. Because what are you going to say? "Hi, can you send you my proposal?" What's your email?
Yeah.
They're like, "We're not interested right now. Thank you very much."
You mentioned something else that's very important too, if I may just plug in here real quick. Pressure. It kind of stuck with me because there's been a couple of deals in my life where I did know the person fairly well, not as good as some, but I had built some sort of relationship. There was a little bit of level of trust. They gave me information to look over, and I wasn't quite sure at this moment. And the pressure came in that I had to make a decision like on a day, or the decision was forever going to go away. And I pulled back a little because it didn't feel right. It felt mechanical. It felt not caring. It felt offensive to me. And then when I said I just need a little more time, what they said after that convinced me that I'd made the right decision, and I didn't like their attitude at all about it because they said some very negatory things about me that I had forever missed the boat, basically. And now, and they said, I don't know how they expect to exceed, but they said after this day, if I saw you starving on the side of the road, I wouldn't feel one bit of compassion about passing you by. Unbelievable.
No, 100%. And I tell you, it's all in my training, which I'm going to offer your viewers access to an hour training at no charge to help them with these steps here. And hopefully that's okay. I mentioned that.
Sure, absolutely.
But, when it comes to urgency, how I like to do this, and again, this is in the training that I'll set your viewers up with, is I like to do this on a first come, first serve basis. So I would say, "Hey, Dave, I'm looking to partner with a local realtor on a bit of a win-win opportunity here. And because I know several realtors, you included, this is a first come, first serve opportunity. Okay. But I come to you first because I want you to see this first."
Yeah.
Right? Now look at this, pray on this, meet with whoever you got to meet with, take your time. And when you decide this is right, you come back and see me. And if this spot for a realtor is still open, this is all yours because it is first come, first serve.
Sure.
Right? And this way, I'm not pressing you, but at the same token, I'm not going to wait 5 months for someone to get back to me, because I already mentioned this is first come, first serve. And I'm looking for one of these or one of these or one of these or one of these. And it will be first come, first serve. I have no problem giving someone some ample time to think about it, but it is first come, first serve.
Yeah,
right?
And that's business. And that,
Right. And that way it's fair for all, because,
yes,
I agree.
right?
absolutely acceptable.
Yes.
Right.
What do you say to someone that, because of what you overcame, what do you say to someone, any one of us in this room, if we have a difficult time starting the conversation with someone, what tools can they use to push forward through that? Like, even if it's a friend, they're going to a friend, how would they, because we've heard this from drivers who say, I have a really hard time here, but coming on your podcast really helped me to overcome, and now I'm speaking out more. I'm going on radio shows. We just heard this recently, and they said, we want to thank you, but they said, I always had a hard time speaking to potential sponsors because I felt inadequate to even speak,
I understand. And again, this is all my training, which I'm going to set you up with, but here's the thing, right? I call it HOT, HOT, which stands for honest, open, transparent. And if you're honest, open, and transparent with those you're speaking with, it goes a long way. For an example, when I was talking about my friend Dave, who the car was on fire, and we landed those 21 sponsors during COVID, right? When we approached those sponsors, we said, hey, we don't know when this car will be rebuilt. We don't know when. We're being open, honest, and transparent with you. We don't know how long this is going to take. 2, COVID is really playing havoc with racing. And to be totally open, honest, and transparent, we have no idea how long COVID is going to last. Right now, there's only 100 tickets available. And to be open, honest, and transparent, you probably won't get one. We're being open, honest, and transparent with you. And this is happening, open, honest, and transparent. But if you can help us to do this, this is what we'll do for you while we're building the car, ever how long that's going to be, who knows. When the racing resumes, this is how we're going to take care of you. And this is how we're going to help you after the season, if you can help us to do what we need to do. And 21 for 21 says, we're in. We're all in. Why? You didn't come in here and try to snow us. You didn't try to fake us till you make it. You come in here open, honest, and transparent. You put your cards on the table. You told us where you're at. You told us what you need. And you also told us what's in it for us if we can help you to pull this off. Who else would you rather do business with? Right? They come in face to face and say, this is where we're at. So if you're new, if you're nervous, go in and say, you know something? I've never done this before. I've never presented this way. I am a little nervous, just so you know. I made myself some notes because I don't want to forget anything. I'm going to put them right here because I don't want to forget anything important. Is that okay? Because I'm a little nervous here. They're like, cool. And because I'm a little nervous, I've never done this before, I come to you because we're friends. And if I'm going to promote a realtor, I want to promote you, Dave, because I like the way how you do business. You're my realtor. You've always served me and my family well. And if I'm going to promote anybody to my followers and my friends and my fans, I want to promote you because of the way you do business. And I'd like to kind of present this to you for practice. If you have any tips how I can improve, I would love to hear it, because I'm just being totally open and honest and transparent with you. When you go through that, 75% of them will write you a check. And they might even give you some tips that might help you perfect this. And if you struggle a little bit, they're going to encourage you on because you were so up straight with them. But if you go in there and try to fake it or BS them somehow, it doesn't come across the same either. You know?
Yeah.
I stuttered through my first $5 million in sponsorships. I stuttered so bad. But I went in and said, yeah, I stutter, but I'm trying to make a difference. And I'm trying to change the community. And I'm trying to help other people like me. And if you could help me, I want to make it worth your while. Let's talk about what that might look like.
It's amazing. Yeah. And I like the idea that, and I've heard this through, Paul's not here, and I hope he can make it because through the Ascending group, I've heard that terminology there about I need somebody to speak to and practice to as well. I mean, that helps me to get better. If we never do business or not, it helps me to get down the road, and I can get better at doing. I'm new at it, or I'm nervous about it. So I like that. The way you said hot, I'll remember that.
Yes, yeah.
Honest, open, transparent. And just say that throughout, and I want to be brutally honest with you here. And this is why I'm telling you, because we're friends and I want to make sure we're on the same page here. To me, that goes a lot further than trying to fake it till you make it, or make it up, or try to fake that you're, and it's not about asking for help. It's about creating win-win opportunities where you mutually benefit from. Hey, I don't want to ask for help. I don't want something for nothing. We certainly don't want a donation. And I see so many teams out there saying, can you give us a donation? Can you help us out? Can you send us money? Every little thing helps. Hey, stop asking for donations. Go create win-win opportunities where you mutually benefit by helping each other.
I like that. I also like the way you said the notes. And I've done a lot of been on a lot of interview teams. And one of the things we stress to interviewees that are coming in, this not BSing it or faking it, it's okay to come with the notebook of notes. That you think, you know what, because I want to remember something, I want to get it right. And on page 5 here, I've got something I need to share with you, but is it okay if I read it? As a person interviewing, I always say, yes, please. I want you to share that, because I want to give you the full benefit of being able to do as best you can in this interview, which that's the same thing. It's just a little bit different way, but you are introducing yourself, that one side, and then showing that other side what we can do mutually together. And so I would feel more confident if they had notes in front of them to make sure, hey, I don't want to miss these points right here. These are very important. And because
and I'm nervous, and I've never done this before, and I don't want to miss something important.
I think that's important, because how many times you leave something, you go, oh, I forgot to mention one of the most important things, which goes back to your ingredients for the cake. We've missed an ingredient, and it might have been the selling point that I needed to make this happen for both of us.
Exactly.
I think that is excellent. I love everything you're saying. Amazing. I mean, you're the one that's done it. I haven't done it, but it perfectly aligns with what things I've heard and experiences I have, and so I appreciate that. So tell our listeners how, maybe a team, maybe different ones. How can they approach you? What steps can we give to them to go forward? And they're liking what they're hearing. Like, I'm looking for something like that.
And I tell you, here's what I recommend. And we can post a link below this interview, but go to EZSponsorships.com. And on the EZSponsorships.com, near the top of the page, you're going to see a 1-hour webinar, 1-hour seminar I did a few months back that was sponsored by Velocita. If you use the coupon code, capital V, capital E, capital L, FREE, so VEL-FREE, VEL-FREE, all in upper caps, the price will be reduced to $0. Compliments of Velocita. And in that, it was about an hour and 15-minute seminar. We edited it down to 58 minutes to take some of the small talk out of there. But in that 1-hour seminar, I share those 5 steps, and I give you points on each one, which we've talked a lot about here, but there's still a lot more to share on who to approach, how to approach them, how to initiate that conversation. We talk about that irresistible offer. We talk about creating that urgency. And we'll give this to you free of charge. I've had many, many, many teams generate $25,000 plus just from that free seminar, didn't pay me a cent, and I'm okay with that. At the end of the seminar, you have 3 options. 1, forget about it. Just keep doing what you're doing. 2, go and implement some of the things I share and get yourself sponsored. Or 3, reach out, chat with me about me helping you to implement that to speed up your results. That's it. I have a 6-week plan, and I have a 1-year mentorship program where I help you for a whole year. But first, learn what you need to know, because if you are missing one of these 5 steps, good luck.
Yeah.
And think about this. Contact the wrong people. Let me know how many sponsors you get. Exactly. Contact them with no credibility. Let me know how you make out.
That's right.
Invite them. Just send them messages through Messenger and saying, hey, do you want to sponsor a race car?
Yeah.
Let me, I love to see those checks when they come in.
Yeah.
Do not send a proposal. Let me know how you make out. right?
Yeah.
These steps are like that cake. If you contact the wrong people, you're done. If you have no credibility, you're done. You invite them the wrong way, sorry, no cake.
That's right.
If you don't create that irresistible offer, no cake. And if you don't create urgency, let me know when they get around to writing a check. Because 6 years from now, you'll still be waiting to collect on that.
Right.
In another way, and it reminds me of, here we are. We're a media group. We're a podcast. We're radio. We're going to go to TV. But I see these people that are creators, whatever, they're podcasters, they're media of some type. We're all media. And there's a mentality among some that just because I'm great, people are going to come in the droves and support me because I'm great. And that doesn't happen. And there may be that 1 out of a million that does that. But they're so frustrated. They say, nobody comes to my show. Nobody comes to my channel. They forget so important what you just said at the beginning. You've got to build relationships. Right. You have to talk to people. You got to present something to them they benefit too out of it. It may be different from sponsorships, but it's the same principles. You
100%.
Can't just sit here and say everybody's just going to come love me. I'm King David down here in North Georgia. No, it doesn't happen that way. But they treat it that way, and they don't grow, and they get frustrated, and then they quit.
Mm-hmm.
You have to treat it different ways. You can't just go into it thinking that just because I'm who I am, people are going to stop by, they're going to love me, it's going to work. You got to build those relationships. Right. It has to happen. I so agree with everything you've said.
And I'm going to add one more thing to this too, if I can. I don't want to take too much time here,
well,
but
you're good.
Winning does not equal sponsorships either. People think if I could just win more races, the sponsors will come knocking on my door. No way. There's lots of people with track championships that don't have a sponsor or enough sponsors. And here's the thing. You're a business owner. You got 2 teams in front of you. Team A will win 12 times this year. You go there with them. You can put your pom-poms on. You can cheer. That's your car. But they won't do one thing for your business. You have another sponsor, another team that they never finish in the top 5. They might be in the top 10, but they haven't won a race. But if you sponsor them, he'll bring 4 of his friends that have $20,000 in their pocket for a roofing job.
Yeah.
Which one would you put your $2,500 to $5,000 on?
Yeah.
I know which one I'm going to put mine on. The one that can show me clearly on how they're going to benefit me and what's in it for me, opposed to some of these teams that win. Yeah, it looks amazing on social media. Here's another thing too. Like a lot of people in their proposals are saying, well, I got so many million followers and this video has 17 million views. If it doesn't make my cash register ring, then who cares?
That's right. That's right.
If a million people in Africa saw that video, how's that going to help my business here in Ontario? Explain me.
Right. I agree.
And it doesn't. So what good is it to me?
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely, my friend.
Just like when I call these drivers, like I called him, told him who I was, and I told him I'm a co-host to Southern Patriots Racing Hour. I sold myself to him, and he could come back, would deny me, talk to me, but I put myself out there, and I feel confident because I did that.
Well, Dean's come a long way. I mean, the first time he took this over, I know that had to be difficult.
It was.
I challenged him to overcome some things that's hard for him. It probably has been, but he's done a fantastic job building those relationships. In fact, he handles all of it. I do very little in that area.
Thank you.
And that's the area one of the big areas that he does for our team is that, and he's done an excellent job.
Thank you.
He probably thought Dave's crazy when he first started, but he had the want to. He had the desire to do it. And he went into it with a win
Mm-hmm.
attitude. And I said, if you go into it with the right attitude, if we present ourselves the right way, they will come.
Yes.
I said something like that.
Yes.
But it's not just, hey, you want to come on a podcast.
No.
That's not what we want.
Mm-hmm.
We want to build a relationship.
Mm-hmm.
We want to be beneficial to each other. We want to help these folks. We're not just looking for clicks. We're looking for the story. We're looking for how to share your story, which also helps us share our story.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you sharing
I do too.
the beginning of that,
Yes.
and where you were at and how that was for you. And I can imagine how this is going to help people out there who hear those same things, and it would be great for them. So awesome.
Yeah.
If you would too, if you have time, just send me that information too, and I'll put it on a something, and we'll put that out there. So for people, when we re-air the video, we'll air that with it, and so people can follow that and make connection, because that's what it's all about. Then make a decision about how they want that connection to be.
You know, I'm offering this 1 hour workshop, compliments of Velocita. You know, if you're listening to this, do yourself a favor, do your team a favor, do your family a favor, invest 58 minutes in learn, you know, go through that seminar with those 5 steps. And at least you know what those steps are. Now you can be at least conscious of that, and feel free to go apply it on your own. That's okay. But again, if you miss one of these key steps, there will be no cake.
That's right. That's right.
Great stuff.
He's right.
Thank you, Claude Haggerty from the north of the border, Canada, and we do have a race team that has been on the program from Canada, and they're very successul. Have a lot of sponsorships.
Yes.
They've definitely done very well, and so I think they built the cake. So
Yeah.
but we hear this a lot, and we want people to get help, and I hope, and I know that it'll be a help to them if they'll reach out. So thank you so much, and you're going to be back on the show.
Yes.
We're going to talk about some young drivers and stuff, and so Claude will be back with us, and I want this to be an ongoing relationship between us and you and others that we can come in contact with and network. But we thank you so much for giving us some of your precious time here on this Tuesday evening.
I appreciate the invitation. I appreciate meeting all of you, and I love racing. I love sponsorships. I love helping my friends. And I think racing's in big trouble. Teams are throwing in the towel.
Yes.
It's hurting everybody connected to racing. All the suppliers lose, the tracks lose, the fans lose, all because people can't afford to keep doing this.
That's right.
And I've helped so many young families where they have young children that race and have a lot of talent, and they help them go out and land what they need to race absolutely free of charge. And I take a lot of pride with what I'm doing here and my contribution to racing to make racing again. Velocita has helped me so much, and I really appreciate all the help I have on helping more teams. So in being on this podcast is certainly helping me to help more teams do what they love. So I will be forever grateful for being here and the opportunity. So,
and our honor, we're glad to do that, folks. And we'll conclude the Dirt Report, and this will be a standalone show that we're going to put back out there. We'll drop down for just a minute where music will end the show, and then we're going to come back up as SFP Racing Hour, and we'll talk a little bit of racing and chit chat about some things. I think Dean's got some notes he wants to share. And again, we'll get the information out there. If you didn't get the chance to jot that down, if you would say the address one more time, sir. EZ, and I'll probably forget here, but I'll let you mention it because I'll forget.
Yeah, it's just easysponsorships.com, all one word, easysponsorships.com. And you'll see the 1 hour workshop. It's $97. If you enter the code or apply the code, capital VEL, free, VEL, free, like Velocita, VEL, free, all caps, that price will be reduced to $0 for you to one seminar. Go through it, take the 58 minutes. Either go apply it on your own or ask me to help you further, and I'm okay with either one, really.
Awesome. Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate you being on with us, and we'll be talking to you soon. And we hope you have a great evening. And the weather's beautiful here. I think rain's on the way. And you had a storm, so we're
sending it your way. Sending it your way.
And I want you to come back and talk about the magician part too. I want to hear the next show. I want to hear more about that. I find that so fascinating.
I do too.
But you take care and have a great evening. Thank you so much. And to our listeners,
I look forward to coming back.
You got it, sir. Take care.
Take care. Good night.
Slide 'em sideways, kick up that